Well, the Green family has long been known for their super successful Hobby Lobby stores and more recently for their development of the amazing Museum of the Bible in our nation's capital. Well, now two members of the family want to help women create their own lasting legacies. Take a look.
Jackie Green is the wife of Hobby Lobby president Steve Green. Together, they're the force behind the Museum of the Bible in Washington, D.C., a legacy they hope will influence generations for years to come. Now, Jackie teams up with her daughter, Lauren Green McAfee, to encourage women to shape the future through their faith, family, gifts, and leadership. In their book, Only One Life, the mother-daughter duo share a collection of vignettes of past and present world-changing women to inspire you to build your own lasting legacy for the future.
Please welcome to the 700 Club, Jackie Green and Lauren Green McAfee. It's great to have both of you here.
Thanks for having us.
What made you, you're both busy people. I mean, it's not like you didn't have anything to do. Jackie, what made you decide to write this book?
Well, I felt like it was a needed message for women to be encouraged and inspired wherever they are today in their lives, that what we do really does matter. I love the subtitle, How Women's Every Day Shapes an Eternal Legacy. So it's not something that you suddenly shape a legacy. It's something that we do every day with the little things that add up for eternity.
It is the little things that add up. And because of that, it doesn't always feel like something of lasting significance is happening, Lauren, right?
Right. I think that that's what we can get caught up in the mundane and not realize the eternal significance of that. But as we every day, really in the midst of whatever it is that God's placed in our path, are looking to what can we do to honor Him and glorify Him and serve Him in this season, then we can really shape an eternal difference that will last for generations after we're gone. That's kind of shaping the next generation.
Yes, I love that. I love that, living intentionally. What was it like for you to do this project together as mom and daughter?
Yeah,
because a book can be painful to write alone.
Well, that's true. That's true. I mean, it takes a lot of discipline, and
yes.
I think our biggest challenge it was the scheduling. It was trying to find time together because our schedules don't often merge, or we might not even be in the same city at the same time. But it was really interesting for us to get to know more about each other. You know, now my daughter's an adult, and then, like she says, she wasn't around for a lot of my life.
Yeah, I learned things about Mom because I wasn't there whenever she was growing up, obviously. So it was fun to hear stories of her and what shaped her whenever she was my age and I was too young to recognize it.
How do you define legacy, Jackie?
Well, that's a good question. So often I think we tend to think what we've handed down monetarily, you know, what we're giving to others. But I think it's so much more than that. Our legacy story is what people will remember about us when we're gone, and what shaped our legacy story, which I think is, you know, having a foundational love of the Bible, for me, is important to pass down that love for the Bible, and that my foundation of who I am is rooted there.
And I think so many times when it comes to legacy, we do think not just about the financial, but sometimes because we don't recognize the value of what we're doing, as you were saying earlier, Lauren, that we don't realize we're leaving a footprint by the way that we live, and we have the opportunity to do that with intent.
That's right. Yeah, each of us, we love that in this book we highlight 36 different women and say, look, all of these women shaped a powerful and impactful legacy. Yes. But they each did it a different way, and they span throughout hundreds of years in different geographical locations. And so really it's an encouragement, hopefully, that women, wherever they're at, no matter where they are, can shape a difference.
Exactly. And what I loved about it was you mixed women that we know in the Bible, and of course you elaborated on their stories in ways that bring them even closer to our hearts, but also you used everyday women that someone else, your mother-in-law.
That's true. We used women from the Bible in each chapter, and a woman from history, and a modern-day woman that is living out that walk right now. So we thought like that was important to see that it crosses, like she mentioned, all boundaries.
Yes. Do you have a favorite?
One of my favorites is Elizabeth Ann Everest, and I love her story because most people don't know it, but she was the woman who was a nanny to Winston Churchill. She raised him when his parents were really not very involved in his life, and so he attributes his faith and conviction to the legacy that she instilled in him. And so we know that he went on to change the world as we know it today, and that's really a legacy testament to Elizabeth Ann Everest.
And I'm sure it didn't feel like she was doing that while she was in the middle of nannying. studying.
I'm sure never expected to be talked about years later. Yeah,
Jackie, what about you? Do you have a favorite?
I do have a favorite. I'll use one of the Bible examples, which has always been a favorite of mine, Mary, the mother of Jesus. You know, and I just love revisiting her story, and she's in our faith chapter, and just the faith that she had to say she believed in the impossible, and she was obedient to just walk in faith.
You know, we don't often hear this. You kind of have to read it between the lines, just knowing the culture of the day. But what God asked of her also brought down some shame that was inexplicable, and just an understanding of who her son was in the middle of seeing the world around her crumbling. And it was a role that meant sacrifice.
Absolutely. She saw past the conflict and looked for the miracle.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's a good, valuable lesson for every one of us.
You mentioned that we've mentioned that you talk about various women throughout the book, but you also talk about the qualities that these women had that made such a difference in their lives. Will you just, each of you, expound on a couple of them that matter to you? Why don't you start, Lauren?
Yeah, so we highlighted 12 different character traits. Some of the ones that meant a lot to me were the chapters on courage, tenacity, and boldness. Because I just found that for my own life stage right now, that was something that I needed. And so I've gained a lot of courage from reading the stories of the women who left a legacy of courage.
Actually, you both talk about that in the book. That God took you to places you didn't feel qualified for, and that made you kind of gulp when you were sort of receiving your spiritual orders of where you were going next.
That's true.
Jackie, that was hard for you too.
Right. Courage was one of my top ones. So, you know, if I had to pick a few, courage, faith, and wisdom. But courage, you know, I've had to go a lot of places I never ever dreamed I would. I was content being, you know, mom of 6 kids and you know, investing in them. They were, you know, I was shaping that legacy story through my children for future generations. But I found God taking me in a different path, and so often He does, and He equips those that He's calling. And I found that to be true in my life, that I did not feel prepared, but I trusted in Him and had to walk in that faith that He was leading me down.
You are both obviously lovers of the Word. What do you want the takeaway from your book to be for women who read this?
I think inspiration. I think the biggest thing I want women to take away is to be inspired and to realize that they have a purpose and that their everyday counts, and to just carry on doing what God's calling them to do, and know that they are equipped. He will enable them and empower them to do what they need to do.
Lauren, did writing it change your life?
It did. It was a neat experience to get to write with Mom, but also just as we interacted with the stories of these women and researched their lives and tried to convey that through the written word, it did shape me, getting to read the stories of women who came up to great obstacles in life and then somehow found a way to overcome that because of their foundation of a love for the Bible and a faith in God. That did challenge and inspire me, and it really helped shape my faith. Getting to write this book.
Well, it inspired me as I read it. I must say, I want you all to know about it because it will inspire you too. I know. Jackie and Lauren's book is Only One Life: How a Woman's Every Day Shapes an Eternal Legacy. That's you, ladies. It's available where books are sold. You can also hear more from Jackie and Lauren in our social exclusive interview on Facebook. To do that, all you have to do is go to facebook.com/700club. Thank you both. Great book.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
It was wonderful.